Thanks for staying with us. So the Registrar Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, recently accused some higher institutions of mobilizing and awarding IJMB, JUPEB certificates to individuals who did not attend their institutions. According to him, some of the certificates have been issued were fake. Now, looking at this story, we have reports that this isn't new, that many institutions have been doing this for years. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can also send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to take them. Yes, Mariam.
Yeah, so what NYC is really saying is that I think there's an ongoing, I don't know if it's an exercise, I don't know what to call it, where people would not go to a certain institution. So you're supposed to go to a university, let's say you go to UNIBEN, you know, the different universities. When you finish from there and you're going for service, you get an NYC call-up letter because you were in this particular school, a student of this school. And then what government has found out is that some people do not go to these schools, but they're giving call-up letters. They eventually go to the schools. Maybe they do their training outside, maybe they do like private coaching, or for some reason they're able to pay these schools money, and then the schools issue them call-up letters, and they go for NYSC.
And pose as students.
And pose like they were students of that school. And NYSC is calling out the institutions for doing that. And it's surprising to see that when you are having conversations with people, people will say to you, oh, this has always happened. For me, I thought it was strange, but people around are saying, actually, this has always happened. You just pay for this. And I think it's even much more than that. For some people also is that you don't even write your exams in a particular school. You just pay the school, and they are able to give you results saying that you sat exams from the school as a student of the school. So our schools have now shown in many ways, you know, that there's a collaboration in scamming the system and destroying our educational system. Because when you put someone who is not qualified, you give him a call-up letter, you give him a certificate, you give him a fake certificate, he goes to get a job and does not do well. We're now calling out universities and lecturers not doing their job. Meanwhile, there's a whole syndicate of scammers that are just paying people across so that they can get benefits that they are not due them.
Professor Oloyede was also mentioning that thankfully, the NIN has somewhat helped reduce this scam because now people have to have their NIN before you sit or to have before you sit for the examinations. And this has strengthened the integrity of the examinations. Has also reduced the malpractice.
And because your NIN is on your JAMB, it will be in your matriculation in the university, it will be on your call-up letter, it will follow you all through.
So that has reduced. But the fact that institutions are co-conspirators in this is an issue.
I read the story and I'm trying to understand how they are, because they were specific. They said there's an interim joint matriculation board. So it's like an organization, IJMB, and that they issue certificates to coaching students. So these are students that, because we really don't, you know, because I'm in the coaching space, she's in the coaching space, we don't have like official schools in the way it should be that teaches you 21st century coaching system. We have psychology, we have psychiatrists, but we don't have coaching, like proper coaching. So if a school or institution is affiliated to a university and is saying that our certificate is backed by this joint matriculation board, so the school will now give you a certificate because you have been trained by a school that we approve of, then it can be legal. So I believe that it should be thoroughly investigated. We have people that are in Nigeria are doing courses for a Canadian university. And they get certificates on just go to write the exam.
So IJMB is like for many people who are trying to get into university, maybe you don't have the proper grades, you haven't done so well to get into university. But the university can take you that IJMB umbrella. So you go to classes within the IJMB is associated with the institution you're planning to go to a university. And then within that university is usually a year program.
Is it like pre-medial that we do?
Usually, some people will say pre-medial, So you do it for that 1 year, and then the institution is able to say, this person has done our course for a year, and these are the person's results, and this person is eligible to go into our school proper. But what the NYC is saying that some of them, government is saying that some of them did not even do this IJMB with you. They just came and gave you money, and you're asking that they should go into your school. They're giving them the pay because they have paid you. So that's the problem right now.
Okay, so what I see is the decadence in the educational system and the fact that a lot of people are in a hurry
to just have the certification because we place emphasis on certification. That's where the problem is. But I think education is moving away from just certification. We're not getting into that era of skills. So you claim you have read this, but when you get on the job, we need to be sure that you can perform on this. And when we move education from that, we will notice that even when they do the wuru-wuru and get the certificates, the jobs will not take them because they are not qualified for the jobs. Also, the educational system needs to sanitize the system. Before, I used to have parents who their children will fail examinations and they will take them back. You will repeat this class before you can move, you know. Right now, everybody's in a hurry to just get it. Let's just move on. Let's know that you have it. Bag all the certificates, get into school and come out, whether you know it or not. And then you engage with young graduates and you are disappointed. There is nothing in their head. So the educational system needs to do a lot more in terms of investigation. So any of these organizations that are not properly affiliated, do not carry out their processes well, should be sanctioned, should pay fines, should be closed down, should be tagged anywhere you see them. This certificate is null and void. If you have it, go and throw it away and go back to school.
Okay, let me take this call from Anu. Anu, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
I've been your fan since 2014.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm not watching your show before because I don't have CBC channel in my TV right now.
Okay.
But I am married with 3 kids.
Okay.
I'm 29 years old. And my husband said I should pass out. And there are lots of stories attached to it. I've tried to reach people on Facebook just to narrate my story and just make others learn from it. But I dropped the message, but it wasn't, I didn't get any response. So I'm trying to, like, if there is any WhatsApp number that I can just send a voice note and just hear my view so that people will learn from it.
Okay, so our producers will pick up your number now. Now you just called us.
I am not watching the present because I copied your number. That was maybe last week. It was on the night because I do watch through YouTube.
They will call you.
All right, so your number obviously is showing. The producers will link up with you and we'll see if your story is something we could discuss. Thank you very much for reaching out to us. Now, going back to this issue, because I'm happy that it seems that JAMB has been able to investigate and NIN has been able to help them to reduce this. But the reason why we're having this conversation is to highlight the culpability of the institutions and to also remind parents of that integrity of letting your children go through the right process.
Go through the learning.
And to also remind institutions that, listen, at the end of the day, just like BC has said, the end product is what we sell, what we export to the world, is what we are seeing. And we need that cleansing of our educational system such that people who graduate out of our schools are worthy of the workforce.
So, quick addition, whenever I read things like this on the newspaper, I always feel funny that, like, when you say, we know the sponsors, we know that when people make statements and we are unable to actually investigate, like, what, can we talk about it when we say we're listing, we found 100 students who have fake certificates from so universities, and they have been penalized. They've been penalized like this. So it's not just a statement from like a place of this is a problem we're facing, but a statement of we have already conclusively worked on this situation and we are standing firmly against it.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take some calls and continue with the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this issue of education, and it's important that we get callers to hear their thoughts. Do we have any comments on Facebook? As I said, I'm happy that Professor Oluyede, who was the one that gave us this report concerning this malpractice on the part of the institutions and some of these groups. However, during the break, Mariam was reminding us that the issue we have with NIN.
Yes, I remember some months back we were talking about the number of people who were supposed to register for JAMB had dropped because NIN has become a requirement for registration for JAMB. And many people came and said the timing was just a bit too short, and because you're asking for NIN, that number of people who would normally register for this exam had dropped. Right. And so now, given this new report, we can see why it is imperative, it is important to have the NIN to also take out scammers and those that, you know, you can
that's good. Let me just take the final call. Good morning, are you there? Hello? Hassan, are you there?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Please, this is a very serious matter, and I concur with Tope by saying it's not about just saying. We should be active about it. List the name of those schools.
Yes.
List the names of those candidates that were involved in that particular fraudulent activities. That is demeaning the certification.
Exactly.
That is demeaning the acquisition of education in Nigeria.
Right.
That's the best way to go about it.
I think so. Hassan, I think I'd like to end on that note because that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because we hear government officials always tell us, oh, we'll name them. Institutions, please name them. We are in the Sorosoke generation.
Yes.
Say the names of the schools, mention the names, because the idea is to sanitize our systems.
Yeah.
And if NIN is supposed to help us to fish out those who are doing this, let us use it properly by naming and shaming the institutions who have collaborated with people to give the
to
wrong
scam the system.
to scam the system in a nutshell.
And set some examples with some of them.